What is happening, boys and girls? Let's talk about paint thickness gauges. What do we use a paint thickness gauge for? Measuring the thickness of the paint, obviously. So, this is a paint thickness gauge. You can get mega expensive ones, which we don't have, or you can get these ones, which are still a few £100, but really useful bit of kit. So to completely simplify it, guys, you have the base metal, you have a primer, you have a colour, you have a lacquer. Yes, you can tell me this, I know there's more to it than that, but essentially that's what there is. These paint thickness gauges measure from the metal to the top surface. You can get some really expensive ones which will break down and give you the amount of lacquer, the amount of paint, the amount of base coat, and really break it down for you. I've never really felt the need. However, this changed how I polished cars to begin with. We're going back a few years now anyway. But essentially, if we're doing a single stage job, if we're doing any new car packages, we rarely get it out, guys. When we're doing a single stage machine polish, obviously the type of single stage varies, but for a general single stage, we're taking away barely any substrate. It really doesn't matter. Best practice, maybe, but anyway, touch wood. We've never had any mistakes. When we're doing two-stage machine polishing jobs, we'll just check around the vehicle. When we're doing full corrections, we're using it quite a lot. So we can't tell with this one how much lacquer there is. So again, when we are removing swirl marks, other defects, scratches, we're removing lacquer away. You may have seen sort of strike-throughs before or burning through, which is when you polish completely through the lacquer to the base coat to the primer, and then it's dead, needs repainting. So there is an art, one, in understanding what scratches will come out and what scratches won't come out, and then two, is managing how much you take away and not going through, which is useful then with the paint thickness gauge. As I say, that doesn't tell you how much lacquer there is left, but with experience, you generally get an idea of what you're feeling for, guys. So typical paintwork, new stuff ranges from 80 to 130 microns in my experience. As I say, single stage machine polish, we're taking nothing away. Two stage machine polish, if I'm going for it, we can take away 10, 20 microns, something like that. If we're doing full corrections or focusing on scratches, we can take quite a lot away. Anything less than 80, I'm getting nervous. Anything less than 70, my bum's twitching. Like, this is very touch and go, and we typically wouldn't go any further. So, check out this mess. So we've got this vehicle in with us. Customer has polished the vehicle himself, which is great. I encourage everyone to have a go, but then we run into some of the issues that I'm going to show you now with less experienced people with machine polishers, and how that can have a knock-on effect with ourselves. So customer has done a really nice job of polishing this himself. The vehicle's then got back to BMW, and despite him, as BMW the worst for this, despite him asking them not to wash it, they have done a complimentary wash and fucking ruined the paintwork, guys. So it's in with us now, courtesy of BMW, to rectify the issues. Typically wouldn't be a big deal, and this is not a knock on the customer, but as soon as someone tells me either they've had a go at polishing the car themselves previously, or it's been polished previously, because we've seen other detailers pull the arse out of paint before, I'm going to go around it with a paint thickness gauge, check what's there, check what I'm working with, and it's a good job I have, guys. So there's stickers, little bits of tape with writing on it all over this, where I've taken paint thickness readings. As I say, it's not giving me the breakdown, it's giving me the total amount of substrate from the very top surface to the metal, which is an indication for me on how much I've got to play with. And it's a bloody good job I did, guys. So a lot of these are on scratches and areas that I want to work with, other than just giving me a general outlook for the panel. But if we take this rear quarter, we have got as little as 66 microns on this area there, which is very, very nerve-wracking. But then, 74 microns, 80 microns kind of up and down here, 75, 100, 100. As we track up and over the doors, 80 microns, 90, 90, 70 down here. Nothing too drastic there. So let's get into the doors. 150, 160. So at this point, I'm kind of thinking now, this has probably had paint. There are other things that give it away already, but I'm thinking this is our paintwork. This is above the typical tolerance for what we see. If we pop a squat, we're reading sort of 170, 160, 160. So it's consistent across the panel, but consistently higher than what I'm used to. I'm not too concerned about the door. There aren't many defects in that. That should be fine. If you just back up a bit for us, Ty. So when we get onto the front door now, I'm seeing some obvious signs that this vehicle's had paintwork previously. And then when I've taken some thickness readings, we are ranging on this door from 612 microns to 200 in places, all over the place, guys. And there's layers of filler in there and stuff like that. Again, it just gives me an idea of what I'm working with. There are some deeper scratches in here, and we refer to this as being rounded off. So someone's had a good go at that already. This is all over the place in terms of what we're working with, guys. So the bonnet now is pretty consistent. 110, 110, 120, 110, 90, you know, 100 down there. The big one for us, so this front wing, sort of 80 to 100, that's sort of standard. And then down this side, to be honest with you, it's a better side. I think it's probably all factory paint. However, it's been keyed from here. So I've taken thickness readings along this line, 100, 10, 20, all the way to the end. So I've got 100 microns on that. As I say, I am getting nervous. Anything less than 80, and it's as low as 60 in places. I think we're obviously the other side over there, we had the front down here was 67. So I know, well, I'm guessing this side is standard paintwork. I don't think, from lots of obviously other things, I think this is standard paintwork. So I can work out that if that's 67 microns as standard paintwork, I can go down as low as 70 microns-ish. Not that I want to, but that's going to be relatively safe there. Obviously, it's going to vary slightly. So at these points here, I've got 30 microns to play with. As I say, the skill is in identifying what will come out and what won't come out. This isn't going to come out completely. If you can feel it with your fingernails, guys, even if you are thinking, can I catch that? Yeah, you are, and it's too deep, it's not coming out. But that's not to say we can't massively improve it. The customer has had a go at flat and polishing this himself already. I doubt the camera will catch it, but I can see some sanding marks through there anyway. But yes, guys, this is about as tricky as it gets. When we come round to the back of the vehicle, the first place I'm doing thickness readings around the back are where the badges would be. So this has been debadged, and we have got 60 microns across there, 60 down there, and we've got 50 microns right at the bottom of the boot lid. My paint thickness gauge, because it's not a fancy one, doesn't work on plastic. This has been painted, back bumper's been painted, there's a bit of solvent pop and a few other things going on there. But I thought this was a good example to highlight for you guys what we do, especially when we're doing two-stage jobs and things like that. So that takes, if we were doing a two-stage job normally, I wouldn't go this over the top. But as I say, there's a few things. I know it's had paint work. I know the customer's polished it already himself. There's a few reasons as to why I have gone completely OTT with this. But it's important to. Obviously, we want to reduce the risk of striking through and anything like that and do the best job that we can. So let's get cracking. And yes, that is why we use paint thickness gauges.